Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of the Articulate Fly, and we're back with another Southwest Virginia fishing report with Matt Reilly. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing good, man. I'm tired and hot.
There you go. A little bit of Gatorade, probably 2 or 3 gallons of water. You'll be good for tomorrow, right?
Oh man, I've been carrying about a gallon of Gatorade and 2 gallons of water every day, and I've been refilling them both, all of it at the end of every day or the beginning of the next. So it's real.
Yeah, I have a newfound appreciation for sun hoodies. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no doubt. And buffs and gloves and all that stuff.
Yeah. And it's kind of amazing. Like, we kind of went from hero to zero in like 4 weeks. Like we had tons of water. We had a relatively wet, kind of what I would call an old school spring. And, now we're, I know you talk about how cool it is and you're part of Southwest Virginia. I don't believe you. It's pretty damn hot and we haven't really had that much rain. And so things are getting technical and hard pretty quickly.
Yeah, I would agree. It was back around Mother's Day. We had quite a bit of rain around Mother's Day. And then for those kind of last couple of weeks of May and early June, when I was doing cicada stuff, the rivers were pretty high. And yeah, we're kind of like basement flow, half to the third of the seasonal average in a lot of places. Where you see the big difference regionally here is just in water temp to start. We've been kind of starting most days around like 78, 79. My buddies up on the James, some mornings are like in the low 80s. So we're a little bit cooler in that sense, but that's just because, we're a little bit closer to the mountains, I guess. And but yeah, it's hot and it's low, and the technicality of smallmouth fishing has gone through the roof in the last week or two. So, we're definitely summer has definitely started. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. And, it's funny. We were talking before we started recording, right? So, you need longer casts. You're saying, that really, even though you are, probably 2 to 3 weeks out from what we would kind of consider kind of prime bug time, in your neck of the woods, that, you really need that kind of long drift to kind of, quietly float the food into the smallie's mouth and get him to eat.
Yeah. So, in a typical year, and every year really, you have things happening throughout, May, June, early July that kind of takes the focus, I guess, off of bugs and terrestrial aquatic insects, namely, non-game fish spawning activity. I actually saw some non-game fish and some spawning colors today while I was dragging the boat to a riffle, which was pretty cool. Minus the dragging the boat part. Then you also have some crayfish molts usually happen around the end of June, early July. And, but all of that said, we have insects around. We've had damselflies and dragonflies for, a couple of months. And the cicadas are super happy. Even pretty early in the morning with the heat and the sun. So there's definitely bugs around. And the streamer fishing and kind of crayfish bottom fishing at times has been good, especially if you're in higher gradient pieces of water. But like you were saying, from a stealth standpoint, particularly in the flatter water and some of the places we're finding bigger fish, bug fishing comes in handy because it's just a very finessey tactic, and that's how we're getting a lot of bigger fish right now. The other, one of the keys to the real kind of prime bug bite is water temperature, and water temperatures tend to peak out for the year sometime in late July, early August. before they kind of start trudging back down when we start getting some cooler overnight temps sometime in mid-August, late August. And we have we've already seen temps pretty close to peak, like in the mid to upper 80s in the last week or two. So that just kind of sluggishness that can come with that when that happens really suddenly, we've definitely seen. And, so bug fishing kind of helps there too. So, kind of like always, the fishing's just understanding the patterns and the mechanisms at play and reacting to the conditions that you have on a day-to-day basis, whether they're seasonal or not. So that's where we're at.
Yeah. So you're just waiting for a good downpour of rain to really get the streamer game back, right?
Man, I would just lay on my back in the yard if it rained all day tomorrow, just to soak it in. I would do a lot of things for quite a bit of rain. Just to, people like to talk like, bunch of rain is setting you up for a good summer or whatever. But I mean, as we've seen in the last couple of weeks, we had pretty full rivers 3 weeks ago, and here we are pretty low and running out of options. So regular rain is definitely necessary. And we do have some, kind of quarter inch here and there forecasted in the next couple of weeks, but that kind of stuff in the summer can disappear pretty quickly. So we'll see what happens. But we definitely could use some.
Yeah, while you're saying that, it makes me think about how people get excited about snowpack out west, and then it gets warm early, and then there's no water in September.
Right. Yeah. Yep. You never know what you're going to get. Like I said, it's all just reacting to what we get.
Yeah. And I would imagine probably, hatches are probably kind of winding down up high in your trout streams, probably like a terrestrial kind of beetle game. And, probably, you got to go really high and you really need to take a thermometer with you, right?
Yeah. Those streams are getting exceptionally low, and, the heat has more effect the lower things get, even up in the mountains. You just don't have the buffer of stream flow and volume. And yeah, we see some green drakes into June, and, you see some tricos in the summertime, but it's, I honestly haven't been up there in a little while for the carp and the smallmouth. But if I were going tomorrow, I would definitely be fishing some kind of attractor, bushy dry flies and beetles and that kind of thing. I would expect to be able to do pretty well on that.
Yeah, yellow or orange stimulator always works, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, folks, we love questions on the articulate fly. You can email them to us or DM us on social media. And one thing we've added relatively recently, we're playing with a different kind of web page configuration for the podcast episodes. If you go to the podcast link on our website, you'll see a little recorder button down in the bottom right-hand corner. And so you can actually record your question, and you may actually hear your question played live when Matt and I record. So that's kind of a cool thing. And I would also remind folks too that, if you like the podcast, tell a friend, and ratings and reviews and podcatchers really, really help us. They help more people find us because it helps us rank higher on Spotify and Apple and everything. So, if you have time, give us 5 stars, write us a review or two. And, Matt, before I let you go, you want to let folks know kind of where they can find you and book you. I know you have a few days left. You've gotten some recent cancellations, and if you got anything else neat going on.
Yeah, I did just have, what is it? July 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah. July 8, 9, and 10. I saw the Instagram story.
Right. Well, the embarrassing thing is I put up the wrong dates first, and I had to take those down because I don't know what day it is, and I am, a slave to my calendar. And if I don't look at it, I get it wrong. But yeah, it's July 8, 9, and 10. Those are the last smallmouth dates, or only smallmouth dates for the time being, that I have open until the winter. Yeah, we have started booking quite a few muskie dates too. Like I have a couple left in November. Then we're looking at the, real winter on the river, which is kind of December to February. But other than that, man, we're just cruising and hoping the river stays wet and the fish keep biting. So that's what we're doing. All my contact information's on the website, which is mattreillyflyfishing.com. And you can, even though, smallmouth dates tend to be gone and things tend to book up pretty quickly, I always tell people, if you want to chat or have questions about anything, just give me a shout. I can usually be trusted to get back to you within a couple of days at the least. So give me a shout, however you feel best, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, and also too, I want to give a shout out to you. You actually found a little webmaster time in the last few days, and so you've dropped a player with, I guess, all of this year's and last year's fishing reports, and that'll be automatically updated. So, one thing I would say, folks, is if you listen to a year's worth of fishing reports, you'll learn a whole lot about the cycle of the watersheds that Matt fishes.
Well, you'll learn that I learn new things every year, and maybe that I'm a little bit smarter than I was a couple years ago too.
That's a good thing to know too. And so folks, as I always say, you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Matt.
Thanks, Marvin.